Good afternoon, everybody. I always look forward to this time of year when our college community takes a moment to pause from the hustle and bustle of our classes, our research projects, our community service engagements, our lab experiments, our club activities, our team practices, to come together to talk about John Jay, about our past, our present, and our future. This is a truly remarkable institution in so many ways, and one of our distinguishing characteristics is the strong sense of community. We are all very aware of the unique power of the John Jay idea of educating for justice, of the proud history of our college that now approaches its 50th anniversary, and of the enormous potential for this institution through the students, faculty, staff, and alumni of John Jay to make a positive difference in the world. As we look back on this past year and assess the state of our college, we can justifiably take pride in the progress we have made toward realizing our high ambitions for John Jay. Let's be clear, this progress is the result of a lot of hard work. Before celebrating our successes, we should pause a moment to recognize the dedication and the creativity of our remarkable faculty and the outstanding contributions of the higher education officers, administrators, and other staff who are, without a doubt, the best in the university. We are truly blessed to be working with such a talented and professional team of colleagues. Day in and day out, we count on you, and you always come through. So let me give you, from my perspective, some of the indicators that I see of the strength of our college. This is sort of my top 10 list, but it's not quite 10. So we had a very successful visit from the Middle States Commission team last year. In highly unusual language, the Commission, in its report, commended John Jay on the, quote, quality of the self-study and the self-study report. In a moment, I will discuss some of the work that lies ahead, but the very good news is we passed Middle States with flying colors, and our accreditation has been reaffirmed. So today I wish to thank Provost Bowers, Associate Provost Yana, and the Faculty Senate President, Professor Kaplowitz, for guiding our Middle States efforts, and the many faculty, staff, and students who worked on the Middle States working groups. Our college put its best face forward in an honest and thoughtful manner, and I am very grateful for your service. Another indicator of success. Last year, we completed 33 searches for new faculty, bringing to our campus a new cohort of teacher scholars who are credentialed at some of the best universities in the world. So let me speak to you. When we welcomed you, those faculty, in this room a month ago, we got a very good sense of your energy, your commitment to our students, and your excitement about your new professional home. With these new hires, our head count of full-time faculty now stands at 421, only 10 short of our 2009 high of 431. With another 26 searches now underway, we expect to have 434 full-time faculty on staff in fall 2014. So many thanks to our current faculty for their careful recruitment and mentoring of the faculty who will hold John Jay in the future. Number 3, this fall we successfully launched our new general education program that we've been designing for 4 years. We watched with excitement as thousands of students enrolled in 160 new Gen Ed courses. This is a great tribute to the faculty at John Jay. You get the credit for designing new courses that are quite simply sizzling with intellectual energy. So it is no wonder that our students are responding to these opportunities with such great numbers. Another success. Last year, our students voted to approve a 56% increase in their own student activity fee, which now brings another $1.1 million to support student life on campus. What a difference this has made. These new funds have supported our first new student convocation, improved mental health services, a student travel fund, and a grants program that funds faculty-student interaction outside the classroom, just to name a few improvements. These activities support the ambitious and lofty goal of Lynette Cook-Francis, our new Vice President for Student Affairs, who has set the goal of 100% engagement for all students. So today, as we note this accomplishment, we're very grateful to the leadership of last year's Student Council that spearheaded this initiative, and to all the students who voted to support the initiative, recognizing the importance of the student activity fee for a vibrant and constructive student life at John Jay. We can also celebrate another successful recruitment cycle. The numbers are in, and we now know that our fall enrollment met and exceeded our target. To be precise, there are now 15,030 students enrolled at John Jay this semester, a slight increase over the 14,897 enrolled a year ago. We are also pleased to report that the high school averages and SAT scores of this incoming class are the highest ever. So I wish to take this moment to thank Vice President Richard Saulnier, who has brought in his last class here at John Jay, and his staff for this remarkable achievement. We also enrolled our first class in the Macaulay Honors College. 20 outstanding students have now come to John Jay, attracted to the John Jay mission, who intend to major in subjects ranging from English to science to psychology. We owe a particular thanks to Professor Dara Byrne for launching John Jay Macaulay in such grand style. And finally, what a spectacular year it was in terms of our faculty scholarship. Just look at the diversity of topics among the more than 24 books published last year by John Jay faculty. John Madison on Margaret Fuller, Evan Mandery on the death penalty, Lucia Trimbour on Gleason's Boxing Center and the dynamics of urban life, Claudia Kellerman on Brazilian art, Mijahid Belici on Islam in America, Roderick Colvin on gay and lesbian cops, and Allison Pease on modernism, feminism, and the culture of boredom, to name a few. Our faculty also continue to rack up prestigious awards. For example, Jock Young was presented a Lifetime Achievement Award last year by the British Society of Criminology. Kathy Spatz-Whittam received the Sutherland Award from the American Society of Criminology. And Jana Osowska received the W.E.B. Du Bois Fellowship from the National Institute of Justice. Our faculty continue to play leadership roles in professional associations. For example, Elise Waterston is the president-elect of the American Anthropological Association. Patricia Zapf is the president of the American Psychology Law Society. And our faculty continue to edit prestigious journals and receive substantial funding from foundations and federal research institutes. This is all abundant evidence that the John Jay faculty are highly productive and highly respected scholars. We should also recognize at this time of year some of the challenges that we faced last year. For a variety of reasons, we experienced significant budget shortfalls that required us mid-year to cut back on our expenditures. I thank everyone in the college for your dedication and your hard work as we had to tighten our belt. In a moment, I will discuss our financial health in greater detail, but now I am pleased to note that with this year's good enrollment numbers and our successful efforts to generate savings, we will soon be able to restore some of the cuts we experienced last year. We should also acknowledge that our multi-year building program now centers on the renovation of Harron Hall, which required academic departments and other offices to locate temporarily to North Hall. Again, let me express my appreciation for everyone's patience as we complete this renovation program. And finally, I wish to take note of the continuing concern on the part of our faculty regarding their teaching load. I'm very pleased to see the progress that Provost Bowers has made in designing a policy and identifying resources to support the targeted use of reassigned time for all newly tenured teaching faculty, beginning in fall 2014, for senior scholars to take advantage of the opportunities for professional advancement, and for all faculty to reinvigorate their teaching. We also have some important work ahead to meet the expectations of the Middle States Commission. In essence, when you recall the meeting that we had here with them as they left our campus, the Commission and the team that joined us for those days has encouraged us to complete the critical choices agenda, an agenda we set many years ago that was stalled due to the recession. This means completing the development of our new majors. On that front, we have very good news. Thanks to the intervention of Interim Chancellor Kelly, the pipeline for our new majors is moving once again. At the October 16, 2013 meeting of the College Council, we approved our impressive new anthropology major. And coming right behind are proposals for majors in Latin American Latino studies and sociology and others that are still in development. When these new undergraduate majors have been added to our academic offerings, we will be well on our way to realizing the vision of John Jay as a true liberal arts college. The Middle States Commission also encouraged us to bring our faculty hiring levels up to the average of other CUNY senior colleges. In this regard, I'm very pleased to note that Interim Chancellor Kelly has asked us for an analysis that links our academic plan to our faculty hiring proposals, and that analysis will be forwarded to him shortly. The Faculty Senate has prepared its own analysis, which it has shared with Chancellor Kelly, and I wish to thank Professors Kaplowitz and Benton and the entire Senate for a very, very sophisticated and persuasive document. Finally, the Middle States Commission noted the reality that is all too obvious to our community, and that is that we need more space. So I'm pleased to note that Senior Vice President Pignatello has commissioned a consultant to assess our space needs. That assessment will get underway during the winter break and will provide the basis for a constructive discussion with the university about the best way to accommodate our growth. These needs become even more urgent at the time when we come closer to movement out of North Hall. So we should be grateful to the Middle States Commission for providing a useful roadmap for completing the critical choices agenda. We should be mindful of this progress as we begin to develop the master plan that will guide the development of John Jay College over the next 5 years. I've asked Associate Provost Yana to begin that process in the coming months by engaging the entire community, as we did last time, in planning the next chapter of our history, building on the success of our current master plan. So yes, it is true that we have much to celebrate in our progress over the past few years. But this year also provides a uniquely appropriate time, in my view, to think carefully about the road ahead. So I would like to share my perspectives on this moment in the history of John Jay. Looking forward, I believe we need to address three realities. Reality number one. We are straining our ability to increase undergraduate enrollment. Because of our successful transition to a senior college with liberal arts majors, John Jay is now operating in a very competitive environment, the marketplace for well-prepared students. Those students have many options. They could consider other senior colleges in CUNY, colleges in the SUNY system, and high-quality colleges and universities here and across the country, many of which offer generous financial packages. 2 years ago, in the State of the College address, I announced a series of steps, what we called then the Strategic Positioning Initiative, now known by its initials as the SPG, the Strategic Positioning Group. These steps were designed to achieve our enrollment goals as we moved to senior college status. Since then, we have a lot to be proud of. We have retooled our recruitment practices, totally revamped our marketing efforts, and engaged our faculty in innovative outreach initiatives. And these strategies have paid off handsomely. Right now, the yield rate at John Jay, the yield rate is the percentage of admitted students who come to a college. Our yield rate is now the highest of any college within CUNY. And of all the students applying to CUNY, the highest percentage of them rank John Jay as their first choice. High first choice, high yield. That's a great record of success. But these successes, when you think about it, have made it more difficult for us to achieve the next level of success. So as we look forward, we need to take a fresh look at ways to increase undergraduate enrollment and be very focused in our efforts. We, of course, should continue to reach out to recruit more well-prepared freshmen, more freshmen interested in our liberal arts majors. And I know I'll see some of you here at Open House on Sunday as we try to do exactly that. But we should also recognize that as we become more selective in freshman admissions, our freshman class will shrink somewhat. To offset this reduction, we must increase our transfer enrollment, among other initiatives. In this regard, our new residence hall in the New Yorker has helped us recruit students from outside New York City, a crucial market for enrollment growth. And to be competitive in that market, as well as in the New York City market, I believe firmly that John Jay should have its own dorm. And I'm very pleased to know that we are in discussions with developers who want to partner with us to achieve that goal. We also need to redouble our efforts to increase winter and summer enrollment. Compared to other CUNY colleges, we enroll far fewer students in these intersessions. Accordingly, I will authorize the recruitment of an individual whose sole job it will be to increase enrollment in winter and summer. But most importantly, we need to focus laser-like on initiatives that will increase rates of retention and graduation. I'm very pleased to note that we have made progress in this regard. This is another initiative that I highlighted in an earlier State of the College address. We should be proud to note that over the past few years, we have seen increases in our one-year retention rate, in our four-year graduation rate, and our six-year graduation rate. There are many reasons that can be cited for this success or these successes, but I want to give special credit to the college's academic advisement initiatives. I wish today to applaud the work of the Academic Advisement Center under the inspired leadership of Dr. Samaya Villanueva. And in the years ahead, I believe it's important for us to continue to invest in that office. I also wish to thank the faculty who have been participating in the academic advisement pilot programs, those in the departments of English, Science, and History, and those affiliated with majors in humanities and justice and law and society. You are helping our students succeed in their academic journey. But it is also true that these efforts help our bottom line. Moving forward, we should find new ways to involve our faculty in promoting our exciting academic programs to students who now have lots of choices, and to help retain those students who have made their choice to come to John Jay. So let's move next to reality number 2. We are likely coming to the end of the era of tuition increases. Over the last 3.5 years, 3.5 years ago, Governor Cuomo and the state legislature agreed on legislation promoted by CUNY's then Chancellor Matthew Goldstein to raise student tuition at CUNY, as well as at SUNY, in small increments over a 5-year period. That tuition increase has allowed CUNY, and by extension has allowed John Jay, to recover from the harsh cuts we experienced during the recession. But this period of tuition increases under that legislation is now coming to an end. So I, for one, would hope that our state leaders would allow us to continue modest tuition increases with adequate protections for our students who cannot afford to pay more. But if you read the political tea leaves in Albany the way I do, you might agree that there seems to be little appetite for taking this on, at least in the short term. So the net effect of these two realities, straining our ability to increase undergraduate enrollment and the likely end of a 5-year period of tuition increases, means that we need to engage in the following budget exercise. We need to imagine a steady state budget. This will involve creating a budget scenario with flat undergraduate enrollment, flat revenue, flat rates of expenditures in all categories. I've asked Senior Vice President Rob Pignatello and Executive Director Patricia Ketterer to create such a budget as a modeling exercise. Last week, a week ago today, my executive team and I reviewed that budget exercise at a half-day retreat, and I have asked, based on that presentation, have asked Rob and Pat to present that analysis to the Budget and Planning Committee at an upcoming meeting. As I noted a moment ago, I do not foresee any further budget reductions this year. In fact, I anticipate that we will be able to restore some funding, particularly to those academic departments that were hardest hit last year. And I've asked Provost Bowers and Senior Vice President Pignatello to develop a plan for my consideration. But let's keep even this positive assessment in proper perspective and ask ourselves the following tough question. If future undergraduate enrollment growth is modest at best, additional revenue from tuition increases or state aid or university support is unlikely, could happen, but unlikely, should we then sit here and conclude that John Jay cannot continue to grow as an institution? So I firmly reject that conclusion. On the contrary, I see enormous opportunities ahead, which brings me to the third reality. So reality number 3 is that John Jay has untapped potential to generate more revenue. So if you look at John Jay, in terms of our potential to generate revenue, we see enormous potential. This morning, I'd like to break down that potential into three categories: graduate and professional programs, online education, and external funding sources. Let's start with graduate and professional programs. Over the past several years, I have noted in this annual address that the college has experienced a declining enrollment in our graduate programs. Now, to some extent, our experience at John Jay simply reflects the state of graduate education across the university. But our decline has been steeper. Over the past 4 years, graduate enrollment at CUNY is down by nearly 6% over 4 years. But at John Jay, it has dropped by 12.9%. So we simply need to reverse this trend, and I think that we can. I have charged Ann Lopes, our new Associate Provost and Dean of Graduate Studies, with developing a multi-year plan to expand our graduate enrollment significantly. We need first to strengthen existing programs where needed, and then market them much more effectively. Beyond that, we also need to develop new programs that will meet the needs of the marketplace. We should experiment with new ways to deliver those programs on weekends, in executive and accelerated intensive formats, and online, so that we can bring new students to John Jay. I have no doubt that our faculty can design and offer a number of high-impact, high-quality master's degree programs that meet the needs of ambitious young people and mid-career professionals who wish to improve their skills and enhance their competitiveness. Now, in building this portfolio over the coming years, we need to work even more closely with communities of practice to ensure that we develop programs that are up to the minute and help our students succeed in their chosen careers. Close alignment with the needs of practice communities will help give our students the competitive advantage that they seek when they enter their chosen careers. Market research tells us that employment placement and potential income are among the most important indicators potential graduate students use to select master's programs. So today I want to ask our faculty to work closely with Associate Provost Lopes on this initiative. Put differently, we need to bring to bear the same creativity and ambition that our faculty brought to the task of designing our new majors and our new gen ed courses. If we can accomplish this, our students will benefit, and the revenue potential is enormous. At the same time, we should aggressively develop advanced certificate programs. As you know, a certificate program, when it's recognized by the state, is a set of linked courses, typically 12 credits, offered at either the undergraduate or the master's levels. Just to give you a sense of what we already have in our portfolio, we now offer undergraduate certificates in addiction studies, dispute resolution, and 3 new certificates in Spanish language interpretation or translation. At the graduate level, we now offer graduate certificates in crime prevention and analysis, forensic accounting, applied digital forensic science, computer science for digital forensics, terrorism studies, which was just approved by the state for online delivery, and forensic psychology, with a new certificate, graduate certificate in criminal justice informatics in development. With the creativity and the scholarly expertise of the John Jay faculty and very careful market research, we should be able to expand the list of certificates considerably. In fact, in recent conversations that I've had with a number of our faculty, they've told me with a sense of excitement that they are working on new certificate programs. So it is truly wonderful to see the energy and creativity of our faculty responding to these opportunities. Finally, we need to systematically develop an expanded program of professional studies. Those of you who were at the college before the recession of 2008 will recall that we started to develop an Office of Professional Studies, but it was cut back to bare bones during the fiscal crisis. Now we have an opportunity to build this capacity in new and exciting ways. 2 months ago, the college submitted a funding proposal to the university under something called the CUNY 2020 initiative. This proposal would link a number of our centers and the faculty affiliated with those centers into one umbrella entity, which we propose to call the John Jay Institute for Justice, Safety, and Security. This institute would bring together faculty, researchers, and practitioners to develop educational programs, professional training, and technical assistance in a wide array of mission-related areas, including crime prevention, prisoner reentry, alternatives to incarceration, research and evaluation, cybercrime, emergency management, and private security. We certainly hope that we will be successful in securing this funding. The decision is expected next month, by the way, so stay tuned. But the mere exercise of preparing the proposal has shown us the exciting potential for a John Jay presence in this particular marketplace of professional studies. The Institute, as we envisioned it, would open new opportunities for our college to generate revenue, to create career opportunities for our students, to support faculty research, and to engage more effectively with our communities of practice. So the second opportunity we face for new revenue comes under the heading of online education. Over the past few years, John Jay has deliberately and systematically prepared itself to enter the market of online education in a purposeful way. Building on the recommendations of 2 task force reports, we have created the Office of John Jay Online, hired Dr. Fang Wang as its director, provided startup funding, and developed a policy framework for online education approved by the College Council last semester. With this firm foundation in place and building on our existing distance learning initiatives, we are now prepared to launch John Jay Online in the spring of 2014. The launch will show John Jay at its very best. First, to draw attention to the online offerings of the college and to celebrate our faculty, we will launch our first MOOC. You may wonder what's a MOOC if you don't know what a MOOC is. A MOOC, M-O-O-C, is a massive open online course. Our first MOOC will feature Professor John Madison of our English department, one of our 2 Pulitzer Prize-winning scholars. Professor Madison will offer a course that's nearly complete, almost in the can, entitled Literature and Law of American Slavery. Other MOOCs will follow in the years to come. At about the same time, we will announce the availability of a new online master's program in security management and our first online certificate program in terrorism studies. These will join our Master's in Public Administration for Inspection and Oversight, which represented our first foray into the world of online graduate programs. Over the coming years, we intend to bring other master's and certificate programs online, including criminal justice informatics, evaluation studies, homeland security, emergency management, and community corrections. The revenue potential for John Jay Online is enormous. Dr. Wang has estimated that in 4 years, John Jay will realize about $2.8 million in revenue, for net gain after expenses of nearly $700,000. John Jay Online will also expand our reach geographically. In years to come, we will have to get used to the reality that there are John Jay students all around the world. Not alumni, but students. This new reality will require us to think carefully about how we create a John Jay sense of identity and belonging, how we provide support services to those online students around the world, how we track our alumni. These are creative challenges, and I know that they are ones that we can master. So in exciting ways, the launch of John Jay Online, combined with our new focus on graduate and professional studies, will allow us to engage with universities and government partners in other countries that are eager to access the scholarly excellence of John Jay faculty. I want to make that point by just illustrating it with this example. And there could be many examples under this heading. But just imagine this. Thanks to the creative advocacy of Professor George Andriopoulos of our political science department, who heads up our Center on International Human Rights, we are exploring the possibility of offering master's programs to students in Greece. In one possible scenario, these John Jay students, they're in Greece, but they're John Jay students, would take some of their courses online. They would come to New York City to take some of their courses here. And then they would take a concentrated set of courses offered in January or in the summer by John Jay faculty and Greek scholars in Athens. Show of hands, who wants to volunteer to go and teach those in Greece in the summer? So this is the new world, when the online world is lined up with our world of academic offerings. And next year, when we create our new Office of International Programs, we'll be poised in a strategic way to take advantage of these possibilities. So even though I just gave that example, I don't want you to think for a moment that John Jay Online is only about expanding our reach around the nation and around the world. Online education is closely linked to our goal of improving undergraduate retention and graduation rates. Just to put it very simply, online education provides the kind of flexibility that today's students want and need. We now offer 122 undergraduate course sections entirely online. They represent nearly 5% of all of our undergraduate courses, the second highest percent in the university. So as we developed a more robust and professional program of online instruction, we need to pay attention to the benefits for our undergraduate students, particularly those who are having difficulty completing their degrees because of competing demands of work, family, or distance. So this is a very exciting new frontier for the entire college community. Let's turn our attention to a third source of potential revenue: external revenue sources. Finally, when we think of new ways to generate revenue for the college, we should pay attention to external sources, including support from foundations, research institutes, private philanthropy, and fees for services. As you may know, John Jay faculty and center directors have been enormously successful in raising money from foundations and government entities. In fact, over the past 6 years, we have more than tripled more than tripled the funding coming from these sources. More recently, we have had similar success in our private fundraising efforts. A year and a half ago, we announced a $50 million campaign for the future of justice, the first capital campaign in the history of John Jay College. Today, I'm very pleased to announce that we have just passed the $47 million mark. And at this rate, we will reach our goal way ahead of schedule, a schedule that was set for 2015. In fact, our Board of Trustees of the John Jay College Foundation will be meeting next month to set a new target for the next phase of our campaign. So let me take this opportunity to thank Vice President Jane Rosengarten and her team in the Marketing and Development Office for this really wonderful achievement. And finally, as everyone on this campus is aware, we've been very successful in securing rental fees from companies and agencies that have rented our facilities for everything from a meeting of the United States Sentencing Commission to the filming of the movie Annie, starring Cameron Diaz and Jamie Foxx. So we have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars this way. And I'm pleased to note that those funds have been plowed back into the college, supporting student activities, scholarships, and improvements in North Hall. Rob Pignatello and Nancy Marshall deserve our thanks for their creativity and their professionalism in creating this new and robust revenue stream for our community. As we think of ways to continue the forward momentum of John Jay and creative ways to generate new revenue, we must consider these three areas of focus: graduate and professional studies, online education, and external funding sources. These opportunities are within our reach, and we must seize them. At the same time, of course, we should continue to make our case for additional funding from the university, particularly for faculty, and the state legislature. Very importantly, we should join forces with the university to urge the state legislature to increase the tuition assistance plan, the funding source for our poor students, and to extend TAP to our undocumented students. You have my commitment that I will continue to advocate for our behalf in these forums. So as we look at this progress over the past several years, we can see the fruits of our labor. We can see an institution transformed. Transformed because we decided years ago to take on the challenge of creating a new John Jay that respects our past and is true to the enduring mission of educating for justice. Yet there is no better tribute to our progress than our amazing students. Let me just share a few examples taken at random. Today, as we meet here in New York City, I hope he's watching this wherever he is, Jose Javier Castro, a John Jay senior who transferred to our college, attracted by the major in international criminal justice, today is interning at the U.S. Embassy in Warsaw, Poland, where he's learning about the nexus of diplomacy and security. Two students who graduated last year, but they're still in our memory, are now in England. Poppy Begum, who came to John Jay as a Sikh student, is now deeply engaged in her master's studies at Cambridge. Nicolas Montano, our first Marshall Scholar, starts his studies at the London School of Economics. Earlier this year, Melissa Manrique, a forensic psychology student, and Sabina Jimenez Pastel, an economics major, participated in the Harvard Latino Leadership Initiative, a program that selects only 42 students across the country. Two of them were from John Jay. And two forensic psychology students, unsung heroes, Ariana Castillo from Bayonne, New Jersey, Jessica McFadzine from Queens. These students wake up at 6 a.m. 3 days a week to travel to 125th Street in West Harlem to spend 4 hours at PS 154, tutoring 5th grade elementary students in math and English. Why do they do this? They do this because their professor, Professor Jama Adams, told them if they wanted to work in forensic psychology, wanted to work in that field, they should first work with at-risk young people. So these students, all of these students, and so many others, are simply exemplars of that special brand of student, the John Jay student. Motivated, energized, deeply committed to making a difference. As fierce advocates for justice, they inspire all of us every day. Next year, we will celebrate our 50th anniversary. In many ways, the kickoff celebration will be our 11th biennial International Conference in Athens, Greece. How fitting that we're having this celebration in the birthplace of the idea of democracy. At this conference, we expect more than 300 scholars from 36 countries to talk about the pressing issues captured in the conference title, The Rule of Law in an Era of Change. The New York City kickoff will be our convocation, held in this room at the beginning of the fall semester to bring our community of students, faculty, staff, and alumni together to celebrate the rich history of this institution. The 50th Anniversary Planning Committee, chaired by Dean Allison Pease, has put together an amazing series of events, ranging from an exhibit on the history of John Jay College to a student-run community service initiative throughout the city called Acts of Justice, to a springtime program of events at venues across the city called Justice Weekend. So this will be a great moment in the life of John Jay. John Jay College, the institution founded in the police academy 5 decades ago, fighting to stay alive in the 1970s, moving uptown to North and South Hall, then into a refurbished Harron Hall in 1988, marking its 40th anniversary with a convocation in this room featuring Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, triumphantly opening the new building in September 2011 with a stirring speech by Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton, and cutting the ribbon on the Jaywalk just last September to celebrate our new campus. Ours is truly a great story. So to continue this tradition, I'm pleased to make a special announcement today, just confirmed last week. I'm thrilled beyond words to share this news. Following the lead of Justice Ginsburg and Secretary Clinton, our 50th anniversary convocation will feature another great New Yorker, someone who has graciously agreed to share with us her vision of justice, her stirring story of accomplishment, and her inspirational example for our students, Supreme Court Associate Justice Sonia Sotomayor. So just imagine the excitement when Justice Sotomayor steps on our campus. Imagine the buzz among our students as she spends time with them talking about her life story. And what a perfect way to launch our celebration. As we approach our 50th anniversary, we should take this opportunity to call all members of our extended family back to campus. So in closing, I hope that everyone here takes time in the coming months to reach out to former students, to contact your former coworkers, to ask everyone you know who is or was a member of our family to come back to mark this moment in the history of John Jay. Let's all share in the excitement of celebrating this great institution that has made and continues to make an enduring mark on the world. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I always look forward to this time of year when our college community takes a moment to pause from the hustle and bustle of our classes, our research projects, our community service engagements, our lab experiments, our club activities, our team practices, to come together to talk about John Jay, about our past, our present, and our future. This is a truly remarkable institution in so many ways, and one of our distinguishing characteristics is the strong sense of community. We are all very aware of the unique power of the John Jay idea of educating for justice, of the proud history of our college that now approaches its 50th anniversary, and of the enormous potential for this institution through the students, faculty, staff, and alumni of John Jay to make a positive difference in the world. As we look back on this past year and assess the state of our college, we can justifiably take pride in the progress we have made toward realizing our high ambitions for John Jay. Let's be clear, this progress is the result of a lot of hard work. Before celebrating our successes, we should pause a moment to recognize the dedication and the creativity of our remarkable faculty and the outstanding contributions of the higher education officers, administrators, and other staff who are, without a doubt, the best in the university. We are truly blessed to be working with such a talented and professional team of colleagues. Day in,